We just got massive updates on the altercation and the repercussions for it between the Miami Heat and the Houston Rockets, and specifically Tyler Hero and Amen Thompson. I'm here to break down all the news and updates on this episode of Heat Digest, so let's not waste any time and get right to it, breaking down the Rockets and Heat altercation updates. And now, if you don't know what I'm referring to, before we get into the actual fines and the suspensions that were handed down to the players as well as coaches in the middle of this altercation, I will first describe what happened and actually show you a video clip from the game and really what happened. So Tyler Hero and the Miami Heat went on and played the Houston Rockets, a very good and young promising team that currently sits third in the Western Conference standings. No rollover a team in the sense of talent in the way they play the game of basketball. Now, in the middle of this game and throughout the entirety of this game from really start to finish, it was competitive. It was back and forth, and we saw that from both sides, both the Miami Heat as well as the Houston Rockets. The Rockets once maintained a 12-point lead in this game where the Miami Heat were able to fight back, not only take the lead, but hold an 8-point lead of their own. Again, like I said, very back and forth, very competitive amongst both teams throughout the entirety of the basketball game. If you look here and look at the scoring breakdown, again, winning 104-100 over this Houston Rockets team. But again, very competitive up until the last 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, if you will, before everything really boiled over for the Houston Rockets, and specifically the young star in Amen Thompson. I don't know if I'll call him a star yet. The very young and promising player in Amen Thompson. But again, this is the video. I'm going to now play it for you. But basically, Amen Thompson loses his cool. There's no way around it. Things boil over. It seems like Tyler Hero got to him in some way or fashion. I don't believe he said something under his breath. I think there was just a moment where, yes, the ball was coming up the floor. They were getting back into their half-court sets, both defensively and offensively, but Amen Thompson and Tyler Hero, shoulder to shoulder, really jersey fighting a little bit, hand fighting a little bit. That escalated to the point of Amen ripping Tyler Hero down to the floor, basically on his head, where things then totally hit the fan. And shout out to Terry Rozier, and you'll see why in just a second. But now let's show you the video, and here you go.
Leave the bench or go over Jeff Green standing.
Another angle. Threw him down. Rozier coming in there. There's Highsmith.
I think Highsmith and Şengün, they're pulling people out of there. And I think Jalen Green went to jump on Rozier.
Now, shout out to Terry Rozier, Hayward Highsmith, the assistant coaches for this Miami Heat team, as well as others. They came to the defense of Tyler Hero, without a doubt. Terry Rozier came flying off of the baseline. He was standing on the baseline right where Tyler really landed after the throw from Thompson, because he was inbounding the ball to the Miami Heat. That was what was expected and supposed to happen in the following moments. Obviously, Tyler Hero got suplexed on his forehead. That is not what happened. And then Terry Rozier immediately became the brother, the teammate that he is to Tyler Hero, and immediately went to his aid, as well as Hayward Highsmith. And because of that, that looked phenomenal. And I want to applaud the Miami Heat players and coaching staff for not letting Tyler Hero get stepped on, walked all over. Yes, it is a team. It's supposed to be a family. And if that weren't to happen, we would have a massive conversation, and that would be the worst video I'd have to bring you guys, because that would just be the end of this Miami Heat existence. And what do I mean by that? The culture that surrounds this Miami Heat team would instantly be just diminished. It would be so disrespected and just not existent in any way, because that is one of those examples. That doesn't fly. And we saw the teammates in Rozier, Highsmith, and others really back up Tyler Hero. I will say, in the midst of that video, once that video really comes to an end, that altercation, everyone starts getting pushed in other directions. Thompson was getting walked to one end of the floor. Tyler Hero was one of the only guys walking free without security really holding him back in any way, as he just kind of walked back and forth horizontally across the court, looking at Amen Thompson as he was walking away, saying, really laughing, smiling like it was hilarious to him, which again is one of the best parts of this entire thing. But again, him saying, you lost, go home. What are you doing? Go home. You lost, go home. Because the game was basically over due to the technical fouls that were going to be addressed, with the Miami Heat already maintaining a lead with, again, so little time left in the game. Just craziness. Now, for the repercussions, what does this look like? Well, shout out to Shams, as he did some good reporting, it seems like, for the Miami Heat in a long time. But he goes on to say NBA suspensions for Heat Rockets scuffle in Houston. Amen Thompson, 2 games. Terry Rozier, 1 game. Jalen Green fined $35,000. Tyler Hero is fined $25,000. And Ime Duca, fined $50,000 as the Houston Rockets head coach came onto the floor and was in the middle of that altercation. Whether he was playing peacemaker or not, he was in the middle of it, and because of that, he is now fined $50,000, leaving really the safety area, or the target box, if you will, for the Miami Heat, or for the head coaches in the NBA on the sideline. That's kind of like a box, like a non-visual box, like that coaches are aware that they have to stay in to not get penalized, fined, or anything else. And again, the biggest thing out of this is the fact that Tyler Hero was fined. Now, if we go back and we rewatch that video over and over and over again, yes, there's a bit of hand fighting. Yes, there's a bit of a scuffle just before the actual suplexing takes place. But why was Tyler fined? Tyler did nothing but get suplexed on his forehead. And then he stood up and he didn't immediately go after Thompson. He literally was the only one that didn't need to be held back by security. And you still fined him $25,000 because he was assaulted on a basketball court? I don't know. I think that's a bit crazy in my opinion. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that one. But again, the NBA going out there and disciplining all really participants in this massive scuffle, and because of it, they're trying to make sure all ends are covered. And I just don't agree with Tyler Hero being fined again, especially with how this took place, with all the angles that we have, with all the mics that we have. We know what was said, we know what happened, we knew how it took place. We watched it all in 1080p 4K visual in real time. I don't know how Tyler's fine there, but again, it is what it is. He is not suspended, which is great to see. Rozier will miss one game, which is going to be unfortunate, but again, shout out to Rozier for even being the dog that he is, being the teammate, the brother that he is, going out and defending, a family member, a teammate to him in Tyler Hero on this Miami Heat team, in this Miami Heat organization. So shout out to you, Terry Rozier. I sincerely applaud you, as well as Hayward Highsmith and the other Miami Heat guys that went after Thompson, as well as the other guys that seemed like they were jumping on Tyler Hero in that moment. We want to see that. It's something we need to see, because without it, that's where things get scary. Now, I will say, what I did mention how Tyler Hero on the court was saying, "You lost. What are you doing? Go home," to Thompson, as he was being really moved off the court, if you will, in the other direction. This was even better than that. Now, in the post game, Tyler Hero was asked what happened. What caused this to happen? What was said? Did you do something? Did he do something? Was this going on from this opening quarter? Is this something that just randomly took place in the 90 seconds leading up to it? Can you just give us some insight? Where Tyler Hero gave one of the best answers I've heard him give really in his entirety of his career, especially in his Heat career, where he answers, and I quote, "Guess that's what happens when someone's scoring, throwing dimes, and doing the whole thing. I'd get mad too." And that's the end of the Tyler Hero quote. I will say, just before this part of the quote, he did mention how the game was physical and very competitive between the two teams, and because of that, it led to this, and as well as following up with this really, really good answer, just refurbishing and really reiterating the fact that he was busting Men Thompson's ass, as well as the Houston Rockets' entire team, all night long, as he ended with 27 points, 9 assists, and I believe 5 rebounds in that game. Absolutely dominant performance from Tyler Hero. And again, he's been playing so well all year long. And with that being said, we now go into a game on January 1st. Oh yeah, Happy New Year, by the way, guys. Shout out to making it to 2025. But we go into tonight's massive game, the last 3 home games before going on a 6-game road stand tonight. We host New Orleans before Indiana and Utah. These are 3 massive games for the Miami Heat team, and now dealing with that massive altercation that we just went through, that massive scuffle. Look for it to be a point where this Miami Heat team really comes together as a family. Jimmy Butler returns tonight. Terry Rozier will obviously be absent due to that 1-game suspension, but look for things to really just come together and really just click for the Miami Heat. Maybe we go on a run. Maybe we beat all 3 of these teams that are subpar, without a doubt. New Orleans obviously is a dumpster fire, as everyone they have is currently or just coming back from injury, so they're trying to find their footing. Utah is not so good. Indiana is an in-conference rival in the Eastern Conference, who again we are going to be battling all year long with playoff seeding, as they are 1 seed behind us currently, as we are 2 games ahead of them, or a full game ahead of them in the standings in the Eastern Conference. Conference, currently sitting in the 7th seed. We need to be able to put some wins together. There's no way you can tell me that the Hawks are a better basketball team from top to bottom, on the floor, off the floor, statistically, analytically, however you want to slice it, than this Miami Heat team. So again, let's see some things get put together. Let's see them all have each other's back due to what they just went through in literally a game ago, just a few days ago, with this big altercation and scuffle between the Houston Rockets and the Miami Heat. So again, we covered all of the repercussions for both sides of this altercation and previewed what is going to happen going forward for this Miami Heat team without Terry Rozier for one single game, and the Tyler Hero fine. But thank you guys for watching this episode of Heat Digest, and I will see you guys on the next one.